The Pacific Ocean is vast, covering nearly a third of our planet. Scattered across this immense blue are thousands of islands, from towering volcanic peaks to slender coral atolls. For centuries, this was a world defined not by land, but by the water that connected everything. The distances between islands were staggering, hundreds, even thousands of miles of open sea. To medieval Europeans, this was a blank void on their maps. But for the Polynesians, the ocean was a highway, not a barrier. They saw the water as a pathway, linking distant lands and people. Their story is one of the greatest feats of human exploration. Imagine setting out from a tiny island with only the horizon in every direction. No maps, no compasses, no modern tools. The task: find another island, a speck in a vast ocean. Failure meant vanishing forever. Yet Polynesians succeeded, again and again, with confidence and precision. They settled a region larger than any empire of their time. This was their great age of discovery, driven by curiosity, necessity, and ambition. They carried with them their plants, animals, and culture, transforming every island they touched. They created thriving societies in the most isolated places on Earth. Theirs is not just a story of survival, but of a civilization that learned to read the ocean as intimately as a scholar reads a book. This is the world of the Polynesians, a civilization born from the sea. Polynesian navigation was a complete system of knowledge. Navigators were among the most respected, holding the lives of their people in their hands. Training began in childhood, learning the stars and building a mental map of the heavens. Each star marked a direction, a pathway across the sea. The navigator's mind became a living compass, constantly recalibrating with the shifting sky. They read the ocean's swells, even in calm weather, felt through the hull. Navigators could sense subtle changes, a shift in wind, a faint scent of land. Their bodies were their instruments, detecting changes in wind and water. They were naturalists and cosmologists, holding libraries of knowledge in their minds. This was the genius of Polynesian navigation, transforming the human mind into the ultimate exploration tool. With no written charts, their memory and intuition guided them across the world's largest ocean. The navigator's art remains one of the most remarkable intellectual achievements in history. The double-hulled voyaging canoe, or waka huarua, was a masterpiece of maritime engineering. These were large, stable catamarans, able to carry dozens of people, plants, animals, and supplies. Built from two massive hulls, joined by a wide platform, they offered stability and safety on the open ocean. Construction was a sacred community effort, from selecting the right trees to lashing the hulls with coconut fiber. Every part was crafted for speed and seaworthiness. The flexible lashings allowed the canoe to absorb the stresses of rough seas. A shelter protected crew and cargo from sun and spray. The distinctive crab claw sail let them travel with or against the wind, crucial for exploration and return. These canoes were more than vehicles. They were arks, carrying everything needed to start life on a new island. Staple crops and domesticated animals traveled with them, creating a self-contained ecosystem. The canoe was a floating world, a fragment of home transported across the waves. In these vessels, Polynesians didn't just travel, they carried their entire world with them. The voyaging canoe was the physical embodiment of their ambition and trust in their navigators. The navigator's toolkit was the world itself. At night, stars guided the way. By day, the sun's path across the sky provided bearings. The ocean was a living map. Swells, generated by distant storms, traveled across the Pacific. A master navigator could identify multiple swells at once, each telling a story about distant winds or hidden land. Islands, even unseen, would block and reflect swells, creating patterns that signaled land was near. The sky offered more clues. Certain clouds formed over high islands, visible long before land itself. The color of clouds could reveal the presence of lagoons or volcanic rock below. Navigators watched seabirds. Some flew out to sea in the morning and returned to land at dusk, pointing the way home. Floating debris, like coconuts or driftwood, hinted at nearby shores. By weaving together stars, sun, swells, clouds, and wildlife, navigators built a mental map of their journey. This synthesis of clues was their secret to safe passage. The environment was their chart, and their senses, the instruments. Through this deep reading of nature, they crossed the world's largest ocean. The Pacific was never empty for those who knew how to read its language. With their knowledge and canoes, Polynesian navigators completed the final chapter of human migration. During the medieval period, they settled the 3 points of the vast Polynesian triangle: Hawaii, Rapa Nui, and Aotearoa. These were not accidental drift voyages, but deliberate planned journeys. Hawaii, over 2,500 miles from the Marquesas, required crossing the doldrums and navigating new stars. They succeeded, founding a thriving society in a fertile archipelago. Rapa Nui, Easter Island, was the most isolated inhabited island on Earth, a true leap of faith. Settlers arrived around 1200 AD, creating a unique culture and the iconic Moai statues. Aotearoa, now New Zealand, was the largest and most temperate land Polynesians had ever encountered. The journey demanded adaptation to new climates, plants, and animals. The Maori developed a rich culture, deeply connected to their new land. These settlements marked the culmination of a migration that began thousands of years earlier. The Polynesians had reached the last habitable corners of the Pacific. Their voyages remain one of humanity's greatest achievements. As Polynesian societies grew, their social structures became more complex. Powerful chiefdoms emerged, led by paramount chiefs believed to descend from the gods. Chiefs held both political and spiritual authority, known as mana. Their role: ensure prosperity, manage resources, and organize large-scale projects like irrigation, fish ponds, and ceremonial centers. Power was shown through the ability to command labor and redistribute wealth at elaborate feasts. Society was layered: lesser chiefs, priests, artisans, and commoners, all supporting the structure. Commoners worked the land and sea, owing allegiance to the chief in exchange for leadership and protection. This system allowed for the mobilization of large populations and remarkable achievements. In places like Tonga, a maritime empire emerged. In Hawaii, rival chiefdoms competed for dominance. These political structures were a direct result of their successful settlement voyages. Having conquered the ocean, Polynesians built sophisticated societies on land. Their organizational genius was as impressive as their navigational skill. The rise of the chiefs marked a new era of Polynesian civilization. Daily life in medieval Polynesia was shaped by land, sea, and community. People lived in extended families, working together to farm and fish. The concept of ohana, family, created a strong social fabric of mutual support. Taro was cultivated in irrigated terraces. Fishing used ingenious techniques and stone traps. The bounty of land and sea was shared in cycles of reciprocity and celebration. Ceremonies marked important events. Harvests, canoe launches, births, music, dance, and storytelling, like hula and ori, were central, passing down history and values. These traditions kept heritage alive across generations. The courage and ingenuity that crossed the Pacific also shaped vibrant, balanced societies. Polynesians revered ancestors and valued community above all. Despite vast distances, they shared a common cultural DNA. Their achievements are a remarkable chapter in human history. The story of Polynesia is one of a seafaring people who conquered the world's largest ocean and built a civilization in its midst.